So we're back to painting, and my phone just fell into my paint, so hopefully it will be okay now. And so I'm going to go ahead and just put the bottom of the clouds in. That's a dark color, a darker color. Make that a little bit bluer, darker. Kind of a purpley color. And they're usually kind of flat on the bottom, even though I do see a lot of artists that don't adhere to that. And of course they're never really too regular, so we don't want to make them perfect. But I just kind of want them to go behind the tree a little bit to show some interest. Okay, that'll be the bottom. And I use another brush for the top because you want the whites to be nice and white. Sorry about that. So I'll probably use what is this? An 8 evergreen. Actually, I think I want to use a white colored brush for that because I want it to be thicker. That is a synthetic brush. Okay, so we'll just put some white up here to start with. It's nondescript. We don't want it to touch the gray too much right now. But we want it to be, this isn't a perfect white. You usually don't want to ever use just kind of like a perfect white in any of your paintings. Unless it's, you know, for some abstract reason, but even then, I don't ever use perfect white. I always put at least a yellow and maybe some reds in it. Okay. Now I can get a little closer to the gray. To sort of marry the two colors. Trying to not blend. Again, this is a more abstract painting, so I just wanted some sort of horizontal clouds coming in here. Just to add a little interest. And again, I'm going to put a little white on the side. And about edges, so let's talk about edges a little bit. So the edges are very important in a painting, and so this edge around, you know, I'm going to develop that a little bit more, but this edge is, you want this to be a hard edge because you want to emphasize the orange shape. So kind of the purpose for putting the sky in is, it is beautiful, but you want to show that's, you know, that's an orange. And that is one of the purposes for putting in the sky behind something. It can be used to cut out around a subject to emphasize the subject. So got a little too much orange color on there. So that's a hard edge, and so the softer edges are going to be inside the cloud. Inside here between the white and this color, that's a soft edge. So that's the differences between soft and hard edges. Pretty much all the edges along here, along these oranges, are going to be hard edges. We want everyone to look at the star of the show. Okay, so the lower part of my sky, I'm going to put some phthalo in. And the sky is lighter at the bottom of the earth. So I'm actually going to add some of the cloud color in. So really lighten it up at the bottom. Maybe even a little green. Let's see how that looks. I just added some green quickly. I've seen some skies kind of look greenish, you know, in the morning at the bottom where the sun's just coming up. Again, this is going to be a nice hard edge, so you want to be very deliberate with that edge. I'm getting a little bit of that orange color in. I'll just sort of blend it. And some people say it's good to have a little bit of the sky color. I mean the color of the thing next to it. It helps sort of bring. I don't know. I really don't know why they say that, but they do. I'm sure if I thought about it a minute, I would remember why. Sometimes I can't remember things though. So again, I'm just cutting out around this orange. Looks a little lopsided. But the orange, I felt like it was a little too big, so let me just cut over here. There we go, a little bit better. And again, I can come back with the orange color and sort of fix that edge. Then I'm going to get more into the phthalo blue. Again, very deliberate next to the orange. That looks a little better. And around the stick. Growing up around orange trees, I did always notice there were sort of like dead sticks that sort of stuck out from the orange. See, now I'm starting to see the actual shape of this orange. So I see now it's just too oblong. I'm going to take that off the bottom. And I'll probably come back with, I need a little thicker paint to get this going the way it should be, but that's okay. I might leave it the way it is, a little looser, loosey-goosey. Okay, I'm going to have to mix up a little more phthalo, yellow, and white. I have happens sometimes. You run out of your color because you're fiddling around with it so much. That's a little too. Again, you're going to get more blue as you go up, so it's okay. Again, a nice deliberate stroke there. And you don't want to touch your sky, your clouds too much, because then that's how you get mud, as you touch things to each other, and then they end up getting muddy. And the color, that's why the color isn't pretty sometimes. And if you're painting and you just happen to touch something, make sure you wipe it off, and sometimes just look at your brush and see, did it touch? Because sometimes you can't tell. See, I know I'm touching the orange, so I'm wiping off. Anything too regular in here. I want my strokes still to be nice and loose. And oops, got a little paint down here. Alright, so I'm going to look at that for a little bit. And since whenever you have paint on your brush of that color that you need, you go in here, which I'm going to darken it up just a little bit, because you always want it darker when these are the sky holes, so you want the paint color to be a little darker. But you can see how the sky holes really bring this painting alive. And bring in that negative shape, things start to take shape. Again, wipe off your brush. You gotta make sure you don't And you want to soften around some of the sky holes, especially in the interior part of the plant. And I'll bring some in here. This brush is a little splayed out, so put some turpentine. Oh, that's not looking good for this brush, so I'm going to use another brush. Just too hard to, with a big brush like that, to get the sky holes just right. This looks a little, I like to put it right by the orange. And this tree needs a few little sky holes too. Move back in here. Sky holes are a pretty magical thing. You can really make a plant look so much better, or a tree, mostly trees. sometimes just even shrubs. You know, you can have some really nice, see that looks too regular with all those. So I need to do something here to make it change it up. Don't want anything to look like it's a regular pattern, and then you get into trouble. So as I get the darker colors up above, I'll be putting more sky holes up. But you can see how that just completely changes this painting. It just gives an airiness to the orange tree that wasn't there before. It was kind of heavy, you know. And I can just keep shaping these oranges. Just makes them so much better. And later on I can come back and shape them some more. So that's a little lesson in sky holes. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.